continuation of our previous videos, we are learning how to use simple simple SQL functions to analyze data, and we already have our database imputed into our PgAdmin fund. That's the dvdrentals database, which we're using to analyze to show how to use simple Excel functions. We have various tables within the database, which is where we're getting our information from to analyze our data. So in continuation, we are on the fifth question, and the fifth question says, how many films have the word Truman somewhere in the title? So what this means is we're trying to use in the previous video where we used the percentage sign to get the number of people that have a name starting with the letter P. So we're going to use that same function using the percentage sign, but this time around we want it to show Truman anywhere in the title. So it can start with Truman, it can probably have Truman in the middle or Truman towards the end of the title. We just want to pick all titles that have the word Truman within them. And then first of all, like always, let's start from the table that contains all the title of all the films, and then we can easily get that from select asterisk from film, which gives us all the titles of each of the films. And then we can see the film ID, the title, and then the description, and then there are some other information as well which we do not need at this time. And then so what we really need is just the title. So basically now what you want to do is to pick just the table that you need for your analysis, so you don't get confused with the other information. And then so right here, instead of using asterisk, I can decide to use title, select title from film, where title like. Now we're going to be imputing the percentage function, which helps us to pick out words with the specific probably letters or words that we're looking for. So we're going to use select title from film, where title like Truman, and then we're going to put Truman within two percentage signs, so helping us to decide. So it can either be at the front, in the middle, or at the end, anywhere within the words. And then by the time we do run this, we can easily see that it's going to give us all titles only with Truman. So it's either ending with Truman or starting with Truman, which is exactly what we want. And then the next thing we want to do now is, because the question says how many films have the word Truman somewhere in the middle, and since we want to get how many, which is a function of number, so we're trying to get just the number of rows, and then we already have the number of rows to be 5, so we just want our answer to give us 5. So what we're going to do now is we're going to run the query to select the number 5, and that means we have to count. So we're going to use select count title, so it's counting the number of rows in title now from film, the whole table, which we've only chosen just the column title to focus on, where the title like Truman, and we are imputing it between two percentage signs to be able to pick all words that have Truman, all titles rather, that have Truman in them. And then by the time we do run this, it will give us 5, which is what we want. And then like always, you can always rename the title as Truman titles, or let's just use as Truman titles. So if we name it as Truman titles, it's going to give us the heading to be Truman titles. We have 5, which is good for us. So, and then now we know how to use how to search for words within our data better. So the next question is creating a table. So this question asks us to create a table to organize our potential leads. So we will have the following information in our table: a customer's first name, the last name, the email, sign up date, and the number of minutes spent on the DVD rental site. Then you should also have some sort of ID tracker for them. You have free reign on how you want to create this table. So basically, when you want to create a table, there are two ways to create a table on PgAdmin. So the first one is, first thing I did was just to list out all the columns I need for my table. So I need a column for customer's ID, I need a column for first name, I need a column for last name, another column for email, another column for sign up date, and another column for the amount of time they spent on the DVD rental site. So once we have all our columns specified, so what we want to do now is how do we create our table. So when you want to create a table, you can either use a query using the create table, and then you put the name of your table first, which is I've given it potential leads, then input it in a bracket, then you start with mentioning your columns. So our first column is customer ID. You input the type of characters that you want to input, that you're going to have there. So we can either use integers because it says we want our column, we want sort of ID tracker, which is just going to be numbers. So we can use integer for that, and then we do not want it to be null, so we're going to put not null, so it cannot be null. You must always have a character within that row, and then it's also going to be our primary key in the case that we need it to join to another table, which you will learn in future videos. And then once you've done that, you can put comma, and then you go into the next column. Our next column is first name, variable characters. So that means you can have mixture of numbers and letters and possibly some signs, up to 60 characters, and you can always reduce that if you think you don't need up to 60. You put comma, and then you can also put not null, so to show that okay, you don't want to have, you can have a first name but you may not have a last name. So let's put not null for this one, not null, yes, and then comma, then we go to last name, and we have a variable character also up to 60 characters, and then email, variable character up to 60 characters. Our sign up date, we're going to use the date character, so to let us know it's just going to be dates. We want the format to be in dates. Also not null, the sign up date cannot be null. Then we have the time spent on the rental site, which will be timestamp. So this shows as in form of the date, the time in minutes, in hours, and seconds, when it just shows basically the time spent in minutes, in hours, and seconds that the customer spent on the DVD rental site. And then also we will make it not null, and then once we're done, we close our bracket. Oh, sorry, put the bracket at the wrong place. And then we'll close our bracket, yes, and then we can run this. And then once we run this, we can go, oops, error, potential leads already exist. Oh, I already created the table, sorry about that. So what we want to do is, let me change this and just put potential leads underscore 2, and then we can run these again, and done. So our query is done, and then we want to check our table and what it's going to look like. And once we select all the information from the table, we can see it has given us the table but without any information, because we do not have any information in our table as of yet. So, and that's how to create a table. And then another way to create a table is you can go into your tables, right click, create, and then go to table. And then once you click this, it will give you this pop-up, and then you can start with the name of your table. You go to your columns, it will ask you to fill in the information for your columns. So for your columns, you start with, and then you can keep adding new columns. You pick a particular, you can pick a table that you want to inherit information from, but we do not need to pick any table because since we already have all the information that we need. So all you just want to do is just input the names of your table, and then the more you put, the more columns you're creating, the more columns you keep creating. And then once you're done, all these are not needed at the moment, so you just go to your SQL, yes, and then once you're done, you click on save, and then you've completed creating your table. And that's how you can also create a table. Yes. So alright, thank you very much for joining me in this video. I do hope you've learned something new, and have a nice day.